How can I perform in Israel when millions of Palestinians cannot attend?
They're going to burn every drop of fossil fuel, burn every fossil fuel that they can. And they'll stall with these false solutions.
Hello, my name is Stanley Heller. Welcome to The Struggle. The Struggle is shown on over 30 cable stations from Vermont to New York City. On the internet at thestruggle.org. Our YouTube channel, Struggle Video Media. We begin with a very professionally produced video from Adalah, New York. It's about cultural workers and famous artists who support the boycott of Israel. Then Tom Goldtooth, who is a major player among the activists who are in Paris right now during the World Climate Summit.
July 2010. Star Palestinian soccer player Mahmoud Sarsak is arrested on his way to a match. Israel holds him without charge for 3 years.
June 2013. El Hakawati Theatre is shut down by Israel days before the annual Palestinian Children's Theatre Festival is scheduled to begin.
August 2015. Palestinian-American author Susan Abulawa is denied entry into Palestine on her way to build playgrounds for children.
In 1948, Zionist forces attacked villages across Palestine,
dispossessing 750,000 people.
Today, those refugees and their descendants are barred from returning home.
Since 1967, Israel has received $120 billion in U.S. aid.
Subsidizing the demolition of homes,
The displacement of families,
the theft of farmland,
the arrest of children,
and the siege and blockade of the Gaza Strip.
This has become the longest-running military occupation in modern history.
Governments around the world refuse to take action against Israel's illegal policies.
Dozens of UN resolutions remain unenforced.
We must act where governments have failed.
In 2004, Palestinian civil society called for a cultural boycott of Israel,
targeting government and complicit institutions, not individuals. Cultural boycott is an ethical, rights-based tactic with historical precedent.
How can I perform in Israel when millions of Palestinians cannot attend?
How can I play in Israel knowing that the government will use my show to whitewash its crimes?
How can I participate in U.S. cultural projects funded by an apartheid government?
How can I tour in Israel knowing Palestinian artists are denied the right to travel?
How can I work with any institution complicit in Israeli human rights abuses?
From Cape Town
to Dublin,
From Montreal
to London,
From Beirut
To New York City.
Artists are raising their voices in support of cultural boycott.
refuse to play for apartheid.
Amplify your voice for justice.
Join the cultural boycott of Israel.
I endorse the cultural boycott of Israel.
I endorse
the cultural boycott of Israel.
Some news about the burning to death murder of Mohammed Abu Khdeir in Jerusalem in 2014. Two of the perpetrators, two youths who are unnamed, were convicted of murder in Israel. The adult involved, Yusuf Chaim ben David, has had his case postponed so the court can consider his insanity defense. This is very important. The Connecticut AFL-CIO, the Labor Federation, passed a resolution in support of using boycotts to help Palestinians. They've come under fire, to no one's surprise. Join the 5,700 people who have signed a petition congratulating the Connecticut AFL-CIO for its stand. Go to our website, thestruggle.org, for details. We record in the middle of the Paris climate meeting of world leaders. Democracy Now! Is giving it 2 weeks of coverage. Today it interviewed climate scientist James Hansen, who warned Congress about global warming decades ago. Amy Goodman asked Hansen about Obama's speech at the summit. To summarize his answer, we repeat our tweet from @StruggleVideo. Famed climate scientist James Hansen responds to Obama climate speech. Are these people stupid or just ill-informed? Early in the week on Democracy Now!, Goodman interviewed Indigenous leader Tom Goldtooth.
Oh, and I see in one of these meeting rooms, Tom Goldtooth, who is a longtime Indigenous leader from the United States, his son Dallas Goldtooth, and many others, familiar faces at these COPs as it goes from one generation to another. Tom Goldtooth recently won the Gandhi Peace Award. In a press statement issued by the Indigenous Environmental Network today, Tom Goldtooth said, quote, "We're here in Paris to tell the world that not only will the anticipated Paris Accord not address climate change, it will make it worse because it'll promote false solutions and not keep fossil fuels from being extracted and burned." He said the Paris COP21 is not about reaching a legally binding agreement on cutting greenhouse gases. In fact, he said, the Paris Accord may turn out to be a crime against humanity and Mother Earth.
The Gandhi Peace Award is presented by Promoting Enduring Peace, a 60-year-old organization. Here's a portion of Goldtooth's acceptance speech in which he criticizes one of Obama's pet solutions, cap and trade.
So it's these virtues and values that are very important. That relationship with Mother Earth, Unchimaka. And like the introduction talked about, in our critical analysis and the work that we're doing within the Indigenous Environmental Network, we continue to be there as advocates for communities on the front lines. We're continuing to be there in an organizing role to help organize and share tools and strategies and tactics on how to stop an exploitive, destructive industrial complex like the tar sands. Even that tar sands has a spirit of its own. It's already pretty strong. It's pushing these pipelines all over our Turtle Island here. That's why they had ceremonies in South Dakota. In the ceremonies, they said this is a black, dark snake. It's darkness. It has a spirit of its own. And it will confuse people to believe and support. That's why they debate over that pipeline. That we have to be true in our convictions. If we're going to continue to understand and learn that loving, compassionate, that peaceful role of Unchimaka and what she does for us, that will provide and develop the environmental ethics that this world is lacking. So I was in the Amazon a year and a half ago. I went into the remote part of the Amazon, coming from Quito, going over the mountain, going into the green area, went down the river, 4.5 hours, 5 hours on the river, going to a Sariaco village. I have some friends at Sariaco. And in one of those nights, I had a dream. It wasn't just a dream, it was close to a vision. But this spirit, this woman of the forest, their Mother Earth, the mother of the forest came. And she wanted to take me into the forest. But I have a friend, it's a grizzly bear. And the grizzly bear intervened on my behalf in that spirit realm and says, no, you cannot take him because he's needed in the north. And I talked to the shaman there that next day and his wife. She's a healer. She works the medicines. Their daughter is Patricia, that goes with the Amazon watch and speaks out. Their niece is Nina, the youth that was on the Yes magazine. So Patricia's father and mother interpreted. And what this woman said for Paris is, go talk to the woman. You're going to bring some women from the north who live along the river like they do. You're going to bring some women who are affected from the black liquid, the oil, and bring them together to form a treaty compact, a treaty agreement as defenders of Mother Earth, and to bring that document to Paris. So we're going to do that. We don't know how it's happening, but it's coming together. It's expensive in Paris. So we got to feed them. Food in Paris is expensive. The metro, but some of these are elders, we got to put them in taxis. But in the document, they talked about what I'm talking about. The relationship with the sacredness and the female creative principle of Mother Earth. Because one of the main mitigation solutions coming out of Paris in these 21 years of climate negotiations at the highest level with their scientists and economists isn't to shut the valve down. They're going to burn every drop of fossil fuel, burn every fossil fuel that they can. And they'll stall with these false solutions. So now we're hearing in Europe of biodiversity offsets, we're hearing of conservation offsets, we're hearing about privatization of nature under the concepts of dominion. That Mother Earth doesn't have a soul. Mother Earth is a slave. Nature as capital. That if we put a value to Mother Earth, maybe the economics then will be able to factor in and save the environment if we can put a value, but that's not the purpose. So how do we empower and mobilize civil society of the world? That's what we've been developing as a strategy with the Climate Coalition of the European groups and the French Coalition, and organizations and people of the world. The moral authority behind that isn't just indigenous peoples. It's the people who are the peasants and the farmers, the small farmers of the world as well. It's the women who can also break away from all that bondage, understand their relationship as the keepers of the water, like my auntie Josephine Madaman, who has walked around every one of the Great Lakes carrying a copper kettle of water, talking to all cultures about that relationship to water as life. She doesn't fill that copper kettle up, and it actually evaporates, goes back into the cycle of life itself. So that's part of what we're going to be doing in Paris. Sure, Tom Goldtooth can go into the halls of the United Nations Conference of the Parties 21, the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, and we can debate the various documents. Now it's down to 60 pages. Now it was down to 40. It's back up to 50. Whoever's been keeping track. There's no really strong language coming out of Paris about mitigation, emission target reductions of greenhouse gases. No. But it mentions carbon markets, carbon offsets, these other mechanisms throughout the document. It's coming there with China. China now is embracing cap and trade and carbon markets. It's a worldwide carbon Ponzi scam. So that's our message going to be, and working with the enviros and the climate activists, we have something in agreement. We don't want to repeat what happened in Copenhagen. At that United Nations meeting in Copenhagen in 2009, is that yes, there was an outcry from civil society, and yes, there was a breakdown in the governments when this administration went in there. Why is it that Bolivia in that time tried to make interventions, and other G7 developing countries tried to make interventions, in other words, to speak up, and the chair was denying them? And the woman from Venezuela, the lead negotiator, her hand was cut and bleeding, holding that aluminum name plaque of Bolivia, trying to get the attention of the chair at 1:30 in the morning when the meeting was going overtime, and the chair was denying the intervention of Venezuela, who was laying on the table the questions about mitigation not being the real solutions to climate change. Why is it Bolivia had their own global climate meeting in Cochabamba in April 2010, and at that time came up with the parallel document, the Universal Declaration on the Rights of Mother Earth? The United States has been fighting us. They presented a resolution in Geneva on the rights of nature. They laughed. How can you have rights of nature? But it questions the whole legal paradigm of property rights. Why is it corporations have more rights than you do, that we do? The tar sands, the First Nations, who are the original peoples of that territory, have to pay a lot of money to litigate in order to prove and get the right that they have legal standing in the colonial courts of Parliament of Canada. We have to do that here in the United States all the time. The corporations know that. They got legal standing. So how do we flip that as humanity so that Earth has jurisprudence? There's a right to have a healthy watershed and a water system. There's a right for a clean, healthy ecosystem. The tree does have standing. Who speaks for them? Are you the guardians in your structure that you develop in your local jurisdiction? Are you the guardians for nature to make sure nature's rights are heard? As humanity, we are going into that direction. That is the prophecies. That's why we're recognizing our prophecies. So the strategy in Paris is that we, you, the people of the world, have the last word. We know the Paris Accord, the Paris Agreement is not going to be what we need to save Mother Earth as we know her. Our people say back home, Mother Earth is going to be okay, but she's going to put herself to rights. There's going to be more hurricanes, more tornadoes, more natural healing processes that she has to go through. We are the vulnerable species. We got to wear clothing. We are the vulnerable ones. So we're going to have the last word. We know that document isn't going to be what we need to bring us in the world down to 2,000 degrees Celsius, 2.0 Celsius, or even 1.5. I've been to Africa. 2 degrees is devastating to Africa. Africa right now is wide open to what I've been talking about, the market system. Climate smart agriculture is going to be a land grab of land in Africa. The investors are the mining corporations, the pension funds, petroleum industry, agriculture, the corporations. They're going to be buying up that land. They're investing in that land for carbon sequestration. The trees that they're buying in the tropical forest, whose trees? Those are not the local trees of the people. It's Chevron in Richmond, California, so that they can look good and greenwash. And the pendulum, they said, we went carbon neutral. How did they go carbon neutral when they're continued to expand toxic emissions at the refineries in Richmond and Martinez, California, where there's a Shell operation? Are tar sands corporations participating in this? No, there's continued local cancer clusters, respiratory illnesses, etc. Not even talking about impacts to the ecology, life, other life itself, and who speaks for them. So peace, that's what I think about, is that relationship we have with Mother Earth is very important. Peace on earth, peace with earth. And how is that, what is that concept for you? To have peace with yourself, and peace with Mother Earth. To make offerings to Mother Earth. To make offerings and songs, give songs back to Mother Earth. That's what she told us to do thousands of years ago. That's why many of the tribes in Europe, tribes in Africa, tribes in Southeast Asia, the Sami, they all had songs in relationship to the earth and nature, plants. So we got to lift up our voices and sing those songs. So I'm going to share a song with you. It's an old song, they say. Someone said 1,000 years old. I don't know. I don't ask those questions. When I was growing up, I always ask questions, and they said, shh, don't ask questions, just listen. Now here I'm an elder now, I got kids and grandkids, they ask me questions, But this time I kind of don't say, shh, be quiet, just listen. I actually try to break things down as best as I know it. But this song talks about, this song is one of the ceremonial songs we have. And when you sing a song, when you do your ceremonies, you do your meditation, you make somehow whatever you do to establish your connection to a higher power, however you define that. You cast out your feelings, you cast out part of your heart, your mind, your spirit, you cast it out like a fisher person maybe, you're casting it out way over there. And you're kind of listening, or you're expecting in return to be heard. Especially in this moment, you're giving yourself, and we all want to be heard. Is she listening? Is he listening? That's what this song is all about, that relationship and peace of mind. And you're singing out to that spiritual realm, giving yourself. Then you wait to see if you're going to get a song back to you. So if you stand up if you can to honor this song and many of the people who have passed on since that song was shared with people. Way Yahweh yo ho yo yo yo. Way hey 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 yo yo yo. Way Yahweh yo ho yo yo yo. Way Yahweh yo hey. Out the Kashna o Kantanka. Ayota o Kairo the Kashna. Nga unchima kama katake nga tkate uyetopa kadete Kashna. Oyate ki mimie ya kadete Kashna wanyankie. Ikchewi chashta kade nga winoche chake. Wichoni ka wichozane. Omakia makake shedo. So those are the words I wanted to share with you. You can have a seat. Thank you.
To see the whole speech and for details about the big climate action in Boston in December, go to the website of Promoting Enduring Peace, peace.org. That's our program for today. See you next week at this time. I'm Stanley Heller, and this is The Struggle.